It's Wednesday. It's puck time. I'm the Prez. We've got the kid, Andrew McInnis, with a team of extinction on his head, and Carm Bianco with nothing, not even a strand on his. Italia.
Yes, Guy.
What does that mean?
Hey, we won six. We scored 6 goals yesterday, 6-0. We beat a powerhouse team from Liechtenstein.
Yeah, so that's like, so when the Italian team scores 6 goals, that's like, a really ugly fat guy with like hair coming out of moles on his face getting laid. It won't happen again for a decade.
Well, we've got to play him again, but anyways.
Yeah, I don't even think it happens when you play him again. Carmine Bianco, Andrew McInnis, it's puck time. And before we get into it, I got a promo to give out and I want to lament. And we have a new segment starting today that none of you guys know about. First and foremost, I had a 5-unit play last night up at WagerTalk.com. I was the $2 Tuesday. I made a ton of sales, and every one of those people lost. I had Miami 5.5, -5.5. They lost the game outright. And Andrew, you're new to this. Carm, you've been doing this for a while. I need everybody to truly understand that, like, I was nauseous last night. Like, I literally wanted to puke. I cannot handle losing these big plays for my customers. I actually question why I do this. I was texting with Johnny and I was like, this is the worst. I hate this business. Oh my God, they trusted me. I let them down. I can't cope. I don't want to do this anymore. If even keel is here and you win a 5-star, your high is around here. When you lose a 5-star, your low is around like there. I mean, the lows are so low and the highs are not high. I can't handle it. Carmen, what do you think?
Yeah, but see, this is what, because I take my losses, as you know, and a couple of the other Wager Talk guys know. I take my losses on any big play. I take my losses in general bad. On the big plays, it's the wife leaves the room because she just knows I'm upset. I'm not upset about losing my own money. I'm upset about, because I know people are playing those plays. So but it bugs you because you have a gambler's conscience. You know that people have real money on it. There's accountability. These guys that you see on Twitter, I am 80%, I am 90%.
Well, I mean, Vegas Dave,
for lack of a better word, they're full of it because there's no transparency.
Vegas Dave, I don't think Vegas Dave has ever lost a play. So people, if you want to for sure win, call Vegas Dave, pay him $500 for one play.
Yeah, it's...
Never lose. Never lose.
Yeah. So, Expo fan, have you started to realize how nasty this industry can be on your emotions?
I think you probably realized that with the 2-paragraph text I sent you last week or 2 weeks ago regarding my NBA 5-star play. I'll pull the card here. Listen, guys, listen here. It doesn't really matter, what sport it is, what your handicap was. When it comes down to it, it's still, the game has to be played. Our job is to be right more often than not, and I think, we're all doing that. And I think that's the best part we have to all recognize is that there's long-term packages for our plays. Prez, I know long-term you're doing great. Same with you, Carm. So one play doesn't define anybody, and I think that's what everybody has to understand.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately the problem is we sell so many dailies and people just, we do sell a lot of weeklies and monthlies, but not enough. I mean, God, look, we're all winning in NHL. Buster is just killing it in hockey, over 100% return on his money this season in hockey. I'm over 60% in NBA in 14 months of NBA. But yeah, like I just don't do well. Guys, listen, a quick promo, and then we're going to get into the show. There's 4 games on tap. Listen, Carm, listen, Andrew, listen. Everybody out there, please listen. Carm is a 5-unit play up tonight. It's regularly $30. It's $10 to all of you. Use the promo code CARM10. CARM10. Now, guys, we're going to start. We got 4 games to take apart. We're going to start with the Toronto Maple Leafs and the Philadelphia Flyers. And here's the bottom line. We have a new segment. It won't happen every day, but when it does, it's must listen to and must watch. We call it the Flying V. That's the Flying V. And here we go.
Hey, guys. I am the Flying V. I just got back from boxing. I did a double class, so excuse my appearance. I really apologize about it.
She actually did 2 classes
so here's
back
what
to
happened.
back.
So here's what happened.
Oh, I'm the man.
The first class I did basically is 45 minutes. This dude beside me says to me, hey, let's do a double. So you're going to challenge me to something, and it's full throttle. I went toe-to-toe with him. 2 hours later, the guy has like a Fitbit on him or one of those things. And he's showing me after the first class how many calories he's burned, which is like 700. Second class, another 700. So I'm figuring I probably went 500 the first class, 500 the second class. I am wiped. But the Flying V is in full effect. Next time I will look more presentable. The gloves are off. So what do you want to talk about? The Leafs?
Flyers hosting the Leafs.
Okay, so Phillies lost their last 2 games against the Leafs. They've slowed down, correct? Are you looking at me? Or are you responding?
Listen!
Listen.
I'm just wondering if you use those boxing gloves to kick Prez's ass.
Oh, I use more than that. I use everything. Also,
Okay.
They lost their last 5 games out of 7. Philly has slowed down their game. I think that in the last, I think they scored like 9 goals in their last 7 games.
5 games, under 2 goals a game.
Here's the thing. The Leafs played the Florida Panthers, 2 nights ago, and they scored 7 goals. Correct? Yeah, this is all correct information.
She knows her shit. Flying V.
I know my Leafs, but I'm expecting.
Look at Carm's face.
He's like,
when are we getting to this? Come on, I'm listening. I'm listening, damn it.
Listen. Okay, I'm expecting the Leafs to put out 5 tonight with Philly slowing down, not keeping pace. I'm predicting a 5-2 win on the Leafs. I'm taking Leafs in regulation.
Andrew?
There's also...
more.
There's also my Tavares. Like, when I speak about the Leafs, I talk about them like I possess them. Like,
look how bored Carm's getting. He's falling asleep.
Listen!
Carm.
Okay.
Let's go.
So I'm not talking about pasta.
Leafs in regulation.
Leafs in regulation 5-2. All right. This is also, I know Nylander. Sorry?
I love the score prediction and everything.
Hey, it's the Flying V.
It's the Flying V.
Carm is just dying.
Listen,
he's dying.
There is the issue of Nylander going through a little bit of a drought. I think he's gone like 13 games without scoring. I think the floodgates for him might open tonight, which will look like this, like the V. So I am outie. Guys, great seeing you.
Okay, Leafs in regulation. Andrew?
I had no idea. I thought that might have been going towards an over. So I'm going to kind of use all the stats that she just said and go towards the over here. I think that last game for the Leafs was kind of their breakout game. I've realized that if they're going to be successful at all, it's going to have to be higher scoring. I've kind of given up on this team being a lower scoring team. That 2-1 loss to the Rangers kind of settled it for me that they're not able to win these lower scoring games right now. You can go back to the 15th when they played Philadelphia. They won 7-6. And, Philadelphia right now, they've been, having a tough time, but they've also been playing some pretty decent defensive teams as well, getting shut down. Like she said, 2 goals against New York, 1 goal against Washington, 1 goal against Montreal. They've been a lower scoring team, but I think when these 2 teams match up together, we'll see a higher scoring game. I'm willing to take the over. There are a couple 7s out, but I would willing to take some juice on the 6.5 if you can.
He's Andrew McInnis. I'm the Prez. Carmine, any quick thoughts on this Leaf game? And did you enjoy the Flying V? You looked like you didn't.
I was just trying to get a word in edgewise, but Viv is always great. Listen, I was at the game on Monday. I sat literally behind the Leafs goal, so I got a chance to obviously watch Anderson in action. Listen, I'm telling
We
you right
are
now,
listening, Carm.
listen. I'm telling you right now, Babcock, as good a coach as he is, listen, I don't want to see what's inside your ear. Move that thing away. Anyways, listen, as good as Babcock is as a coach, I think he's making a huge mistake right now with Anderson. Anderson looked slow on Monday. He's looked like that for a few games now. I think the guy needs rest. Listen, they're 5 or 6 points behind Boston. You're not going to catch Boston for second because you're a Leaf fan, so I'm addressing you, Lawrence.
Me.
Prez. But here's the thing is, give the guy a few games off. Bring him back the last couple of games. Get him into play, razor sharp for the playoffs. He needs rest. If they ride him the rest of the way, they're absolutely going out first round. I think they're going out in the first round anyways against Boston. But it's a mistake having this guy in net tonight. And he's listed tonight a confirmed starter and hard in net for Philadelphia. Philly got blown out 7-6 by the Leafs last week or a week and a half ago, and have gone 4-0-1 against the over-under. They've gone under 4 of the last 5 with a push. So I'm kind of leaning with the number at 7. I was kind of leaning on the under here. I just think it'll be a little tighter. But when you talk about over-unders, and I'll make this quick, this is how this sport is just absolutely horrible. Leafs have won both games against Philly, 7-6, easy over.
6-0.
And the other game was 6.5. Leafs score 4 in the first, 2 in the second, and it finishes 6-0. You're absolutely loving it if you've got over 6.5, and you're absolutely hating it at the end. So it's the thing about this sport that absolutely kills you sometimes. I'm leaning on under 7 tonight.
Thanks, Carm. Let's get into the next game. New York Rangers on the road playing Boston. We were just talking about Boston. Rangers suck. They've lost 6 of their last 7 games. They've lost 8 of their last 10. They beat the Leafs. Shocking. Both you and I had the Leafs -1.5. Boston looked really good against Tampa Bay right up until about 4 minutes to go in the game. They have won 4 of their last 5 games. We got Boston here at a massive number, -335. We already saw a dog of that magnitude cash this week with Detroit over Calgary. The over and under in this game is 6. The spread is Boston -1.5, -125. And Carm, I'll go to you first. I think that's where the play is. I think the Rangers are done. And although Boston's not playing for anything right now, I think one more win seals their home ice advantage. I like Boston -1.5.
Yeah, listen, Rangers have been done for a while now.
Except for when they played the damn Leafs.
You're looking at their last 15 games. Other than that upset against the Leafs, 2-1 in Toronto last Saturday, they've beaten the Devils twice. They've lost 12 games. They have 7 regulation wins on the road in 37 games. They've only won in regulation 7 times. That's not a New York team, and that's not a Rangers team. But they just suck this year. It's just what it is. Typically, I would say to you, Boston coming home off a 4-game or longer road trip, any team coming home, it's a flat spot. But every single time Boston's come home off a 4-game, 3-game, or 4-game road trip, they've won at home. And we're talking about wins over good teams, Columbus, Pittsburgh, and then San Jose. They came home off a 6-game Western road trip, I think it was, and beat San Jose, who were just knocking everyone's lights out. And they beat them 4-1 at home. Boston, the magic number is like 9 points, I think, to clinch that second spot. I think they pick up 2 tonight, and they do it in style over the Rangers. Definitely, you can't lay that number. Lay the puck line -1.5. I think that's the play tonight.
Andrew?
I mean, Prez, you started things off by saying that the New York Rangers suck, and I can't really elaborate more on that. I mean, look at this Rangers team right now. They're losing to teams like Pittsburgh, but they're also losing teams like Detroit, Vancouver, Edmonton, teams that shouldn't even be involved in hockey games. I thought this New York Rangers team would at least have like a fighter's chance down the stretch and be one of those teams that could stay alive and make a difference. But looking at some of these games that they're losing, it's unbelievable. And the fact is, like you guys are saying, we're seeing such heavy favorites here for Boston. They've absolutely been dominating. 5 straight wins for them at home. And, they've done well as far as scoring-wise. Last 3 games against the Rangers averaged 3.7 goals per game in that span. And for right now, who's going to score for the Rangers? I continue to ask that question. I mean, they're sitting up half an AHL team out there. We got Mark Stahl questionable for tonight, Kreider questionable for tonight. And I know Boston's still dealing with a few injuries, but they're relatively healthy right now. And this is one of those teams for me that I have marked that does not care, this clinch, that, playoff clinch, whatever. They're playing hockey until the final game. I get a feeling this is a full dominant matchup, and I hate taking the puck lines with not much value, but for this one, it's quite obvious to me, and I'll go with Bruins -1.5.
We are all on the same page here. Stars playing Calgary. Huge game for Dallas. It's getting really interesting. There's a few really, really good playoff races going on right now. We're going to talk about Montreal in a second with Columbus chasing them. But the West Coast. I mean, Chicago now out of it. Arizona now really in it. The playoff picture is so juicy. Dallas has 84 points. Arizona and Colorado are tied at 81. And Minnesota right behind them with 79 points. Dallas must win this hockey game, and they played outstanding against the Winnipeg Jets. Calgary lost to LA, which just blew my mind. I mean, 2 nights ago, we had Detroit beating San Jose, LA beating Calgary. Calgary, though, won 3 games prior to that. They are a -160 favorite tonight. The spread is -1.5 plus 165. And the total here is 5.5. And, the bottom line is Calgary can score, but they have slowed down a bit. Man, Dallas put up 5 against Winnipeg. The last time they put up 5 might have been when Joe Sakic was playing. Oh, he was playing for Colorado. But you know what I mean. It's been a long while since Dallas has put up 5. I think Dallas comes down to earth after that big game. And, I like, and I go to you, Andrew, first, I like Calgary in regulation.
I like Calgary in regulation as well, but I also look at the over. I find it tough, especially because it is Ben Bishop and the Dallas Stars. And like you mentioned, before that kind of explosion versus Winnipeg, we didn't see much out of them. We saw 2 goals against Pittsburgh, 1 goal against Colorado, 2 goals against Vancouver. However, this team really has to know that I think Ben Bishop isn't going to be their savior. It's kind of seeing from Montreal right now. Everyone tells me, Montreal can't do it all with just Price. They got to score themselves. You go ahead and score 7 against Buffalo and have a great performance yesterday against Florida. I think it's kind of the same boat here for Dallas. I mean, they're desperate right now. They're fighting right now. They're in a great spot, and I think at that 5.5 total at a decent price here with a Calgary team that at home that plays so great. I think that this is kind of their time to get their stuff together because, like you said, that day was really, really tricky in the NHL. For this Calgary Flames team to lose 3-0 to the LA Kings. As -320 favorites,
yeah,
that's got to be a kick in the ass. I mean, I know they don't care about the odds, guys, but, they're actually fighting for a good spot. And they're, again, one of those other teams for me right now that I think has to take things seriously down the stretch. They can't fall asleep before playoff time because it's really going to bite them in the ass come playoff time. And I realistically, Dallas is hot right now, guys. Like, I feel more comfortable with this total than I will with the side because that was really a rude awakening for the Winnipeg Jets. Dallas coming in and taking care of business. I stayed away from that game on the side. I was really questioning how Dallas would come out. But for me, I got to look at the over here. 7 of the last 10 between these 2 teams in Calgary have gone over. And I assume most of those actually haven't been 5.5. So I think it's kind of weird we're getting a 5.5 with the way Dallas picked it up. And, Calgary coming off that huge loss to LA.
Bold man, any quick thoughts? And listen, we're listening.
Listen, all right, listen. Okay, first of all, before we get into this, I absolutely love the comments on the videos. People are ripping you, and it just brings me such joy. So, if you're watching it, that guy Richie Rich or who,
Richie Rich doesn't rip me. Rich double R squared is a fan, brother. R squared is a fan. My favorite is this one guy, John Jr. or something. Every show, Alex and Andrew, great job. Every show.
I love it.
He's loyal. He's loyal.
That's sometimes it's the understated that gets to you, and that's what happened. Okay, let's go to this thing. Listen, it just feels like those 5 goals, and Andrew makes some great points on taking the over here. I think them scoring 5 goals in Winnipeg is sort of an anomaly. They haven't scored a lot of goals, but they're playing so well on the road. Like they started 6-11-1 on the road, and then flipped that to the opposite of 11-6-2, and they've won their last 5 on the road. They're playing really well. They're a live dog at plus 140. I absolutely believe they're a live dog tonight. The thing about Calgary going into the playoffs is I am not sold, and I said this before the trade deadline where they could have picked up a goalie. I'm not sold on Rittich and Smith. I'm not. I think that if they fail in the playoffs, it's going to be their goaltending. Anyways, short and sweet here. I'm taking a shot on Dallas. I think they're a live dog plus 140 tonight.
Guys, before we get into the last game, Vegas against Colorado, I want to give out my famous only hit 1 3-team big dog parlay. And I want to talk about last night's one. Last night, I won the first 2 legs and I lost with Vancouver, making the parlay a loser. But did it? No. See, that parlay, gentlemen, was a 20-1 payout, and the Vancouver game started after we already knew that the first 2 games were in the bag. So I hope you guys did the smart thing like I did and hedged that Vancouver play. I hedged that Vancouver play, and I ended up making 7-1 on my money. So I am considering last night's losing parlay as a cha-ching cash.
I'm gonna jump in here, and I think you giving out this valuable information. When you give out that parlay, you should take it one step further and tell your clients, tell the viewers, and say, listen, the first 2 games, should they win, the Vancouver game does not start.
Come on, like you would expect people to know this, and I got an email last night from one of our listeners who did know this. I'm not going to tell people how to hold a fork.
Sometimes you do. You should.
Okay.
All right.
Tonight, Boston Bruins -1.5. Calgary Flames -1.5. Toronto Maple Leafs -1.5. $150 pays 1,930. Look, Boston and Toronto need to be up by at least 4 goals before you can hedge that game. But there is a hedge opportunity with Calgary. So keep your eyes open. Andrew, we'll go to you, brother. The Vegas Golden Knights. 2-game losing streak, and I predicted it. I said to you the Vegas Knights were too hot, and they were going to slow down coming into the playoffs. They're on the road now after losing 3-1 to St. Louis. They're playing Colorado. Colorado's won 4 of their last 5 games. They, like Dallas and Arizona and Minnesota, are in must-win mode. And I think they win tonight. It's -105 for Colorado. The over and under is 5.5. And, Vegas and Colorado both have been playing to the under. Colorado last 5 games have gone under, but 2 of them were 6.5 totals. I like Colorado in this spot. Andrew?
Yeah, I wish we would have compared notes there, Prez, because I've had a tough time dealing with this Vegas team. And looking at them right now, the way they've slowed down, I kind of have to wonder where that firepower has gone. But it also, guys, it really shows the importance of missing players. even though a hockey team is 4 lines, it really goes to show with Max Pacioretty out of the lineup what that really does to your team. And, with Marc-Andre Fleury, Prez, you made a point to me, I don't know if you remember this, a week or 2 ago, about how different it is when you have a goaltender out of the lineup. Even if your team's playing great, you still know that backup is there. And I really felt that watching Malcolm Subban in the net, because it's kind of a shame, and I feel bad genuinely because he's actually been playing some good hockey. He had 1 or 2 errors, stick handling the puck, but it just seems like they play different when he's in the net. And nobody is the same as Marc-Andre Fleury, but he's questionable now to return. They scored 1 goal against St. Louis, 2 goals against Detroit. I know I'm kind of pushing here, but I think they're due for a little more of an explosion. I think that this is not the Vegas Golden Knights team that we're used to seeing. This is not the team that went 7-3 against San Jose and 5-0 against Winnipeg. Where is that team gone? I'm curious where that team, and I think the best time right here is against Colorado, a team that loves to give up goals. And in the past history between these 2 teams, it's been all Vegas. It's been a dominant matchup between Vegas here. I'm giving out Vegas, and I'm giving out the over in this one. Again, why are we getting a 5.5 number? These teams can reach 6. I feel strongly about both those plays.
Carm, any quick thoughts?
Yeah, listen, those last 2 losses for Vegas were those last 2 losses for Vegas were tough because San Jose is really tanking it right now. I think they've lost like 5 or 6 in a row. This was a good spot for the Golden Knights to close that gap and take over the second in the Pacific. They're 5 points back. They lose in overtime to Detroit. Then they lose their next game. They've dropped 3 points there that would have put them within 2 points of the Sharks. But yeah, they're a hot team that's cooling down. 10 out of 11 wins before that 2-game slide. They lost last time in Colorado 3-0, and the Avalanche are in, they're in that battle right now with the Coyotes. They've picked up wins in 4 of their last 5, a point in the other one. So they're picking up points. They're playing well. It's probably why the total is at 5.5. Is a few guys out for Vegas. Pacioretty's obviously out. Yesterday, Puri, Nosek, and Theodore, none of them practiced, along with Fleury. None of them were on the ice. So it's unknown as of filming today, right now, who's in net tonight. But it could be Subban in net because Fleury didn't practice yesterday. They play tight defensively. This it could be a low-scoring one. I'm actually leaning on the Avalanche here. You're getting 118 at home with them, with the Vegas team that's lost a couple and are probably ready to head home. I'll take the plus 118 here with a short home dog.
We'll leave with this, guys. Andrew Pizan is playing HC Olumiak in Czech tonight. The over and under is 5.5. Pizan is minus 139. Do you have any thoughts at all?
Take the dog. Take the dog, probably.
Probably. I'm getting some really big info on Pizan at plus 139.
Man, guys, I'm sitting down. I literally just kind of fell asleep on the couch last night. The TV is still going. What comes on? But I think it was like Counter-Strike or like some. Literally, they're actually broadcasting video games now for like hours and hours. And my roommate looks at me and said, "Can you bet on this?"
And you can.
And you can, and that's what's ridiculous. I actually have a friend that like I bet on sports. He bets on like esports, and it's ridiculous. I mean, I don't want to say it's ridiculous, but it's unbelievable like how far we've come with that kind of stuff. To look up at the screen on ESPN and TSN, they're literally playing literally video games.
Andrew, I want to ask one quick question, and then we'll actually call it a show. Montreal, brother, you're Canadians. Carey Price. Best goalie in the league since January 1st. Playing lights out, playing as good as he played when he was the MVP. This team is 2 points out. Tomorrow night is a monster against Columbus. I don't know. Have you taken a look at Montreal's schedule, bro? If this team loses tomorrow night, I think they're out.
I'm going to tell you guys that loss that Columbus took against Edmonton is really going to come back to haunt them. That's the main thing I have to say here. Regardless of what happens tomorrow, I think that whether it's the matchup against Tampa Bay, whether it's against Toronto, I think near the end of the season, some of these teams aren't going to be as awake for their games.
Yeah, that's fair.
So, I'm not saying I'm banking on that, but when I look at the schedules, I mean, it's still a little bit of a tougher schedule for Columbus down the stretch, and right now they're still behind. That's all I'm focused on. And again, that Edmonton match is really going to come back to haunt them, I think. But obviously, tomorrow's is the biggest game of the year for both teams. That really decides it, Prez. Honestly, it's one of the biggest.
So who are you on?
Montreal.
Yeah, get out of here!
But take the under.
Carmine Bianco, we love you, brother. Andrew, we're okay with you. Tomorrow, Carmine Bianco and Alex B. Smith. But Andrew, feel free to send in some analysis on the Montreal game, and I'm happy to read it on air. Listeners,
okay.
Listeners, Carm 10 $10 for his 5% play. I don't know how the hell we spent 30 minutes taking apart, 4.5 games because we went check today. And the Flying V is check. I don't know if you know that. So, yeah, so we started with check and we ended with check. And check is an activity or action that happens in hockey. I'm the Prez. See you tomorrow, peeps.
See you guys.